Hi, this is part 2 of how to recognize real empathy. So, hi everybody again. I am Dr. J.K. Hairston, MD. I am a medical doctor, a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist, and I teach empathy. And I mentor people in how to develop more empathy for themselves and empathy for others, and that empathy is a life skill that everyone should have. Absolutely everyone. So this is a really important skill to talk about and to learn from other people who have already developed the skill. So I really believe it's important to talk about how that we can recognize empathy when we see it. And when I talk about empathy, I'm talking about recognizing our needs, your own personal needs, and then recognizing the needs of others, but then holding both of them equally, so that your needs are equal to their needs and that you hold them equal, meaning that they're both important and that you don't put yourself below someone else and don't put someone else up high, and you don't put yourself above someone else and someone else down low. That you really understand that everyone is important and that you strive to do that, and you strive to make sure that your needs are met and their needs are met. And I really do believe that when we actually have this intention, both things can happen. However, if we don't have the intention, if that's not what we set out to do, then we're not going to ask the right questions. We're not going to connect the right dots to get to that answer. So we have to actually look for it. We have to strive to understand our needs, and we have to strive to understand other people's needs. And that's real empathy. So this is the second installment in how to recognize real empathy. So, and this is from the standpoint of someone giving you empathy. So if someone is giving you empathy, how to know that it's real versus someone who is just, kind of posturing, kind of pretending to be on your side and not really for you, really just for themselves, and to really recognize the truth about people. That's really important. So here's the next 4. So we talked about the first 4 in a previous video. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch. So here's the next 4. So this is actually 5, but here are 4 additional tips about how to recognize real empathy. So the first one, picking up where we left off, is that a person who is giving empathy actually does what they say they will do. That they are really striving to live in truth, and that they are keeping their word, versus someone who is not keeping their word, or they're basically making promises that either because they wish they could do it and then they actually have not made any plans of how they were going to do it, or that there's no follow through because it was never designed to have follow through, or people who just say what we like to hear just because they want to be agreeable, they want to be liked, they want us to think that they can solve our problems, they become our heroes or our sheroes, or however the case may be, is that they're not actually willing to tell us the truth. And so they say something that sounds really good right then, but then there's really no follow through. So with real empathy, there's going to be follow through. And that's really important. And it's really important if someone making promises to you that they're actually keeping them. And that really promises aren't necessary. It's just like if someone gives their word, then why isn't realistic that we can start developing relationships where we can actually believe the people that we talk to? I think it's really important for healthy relationships, healthy boundaries, healthy, just good mental health, that we begin talking about, even coming to the conversation where, what you say is beneficial and is good and is true. And because when we start from that point of beneficial, good, and true, then we get better conversations. We just do. So and we can be more real and more honest and less deceitful and less denying the reality of the world, and so more honest with ourselves, more honest with other people, developing more honest relationships. These are all really important for mental health, because otherwise we just have tangled webs of deceit, and we really don't want that. We really want the truth in this world. So even if we don't have it now, we talk about becoming that change. Well, that's one of them, becoming more honest with ourselves and more honest with other people, and really saying those things that are a little bit more difficult. It's really worth it. So that's the first tip, is like the person actually follows through on what they say. They are trying to live their word and making a point of that. The second thing is that when you are someone who's giving you real empathy, that they applaud you for your efforts and the things that you accomplish, and they acknowledge you. They were like, wow, man, that was so good. I really like how you did that. The compliments come easily. There's like, oh, strong work, or wow, that's beautiful. What you just shared was lovely. It really touched my heart. Or just like, hey, I see that took like a lot of effort, I like the way you powered through that. Or I like the tenderness with which you did that. You're such a caring and kind person. I really value the care that you give to other people. Like, there are genuine compliments coming. And it's not based upon just themselves. It's based upon actually what you did and what they saw you do and what they heard about you doing. They acknowledge you for that, and because they value you. And that's real empathy. So the next thing is, a person who's giving real empathy is not expecting perfection from you, and that's because they already learned that they can't expect perfection from themselves. And so if they're not expecting perfection from themselves, they can't really expect perfection from other people. And it's really about being human. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting better at what we do and increasing our level of expertise and becoming more and more expert. And, we raise the bar for ourselves and hold ourselves to a higher level of accountability, but they're really not trying to hold you more accountable to them than they are accountable to themselves. So let me slow that down and say that again, is that a person giving real empathy is holding themselves most accountable. And then they are looking at other people and they are forgiving of other people. They're not trying to hold another person more accountable than they will hold themselves. And so that means they've had to develop forgiveness for themselves for being imperfect, and that allows them to forgive you for being imperfect. And so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of internal work to actually be able to give empathy, because it requires a lot of forgiveness on a part of ourselves, because so many times we wish that we were able to do more than we actually can, and that's just being human. And the reality is, it's okay to acknowledge that I wish I could do more, but I really can't. And when we acknowledge that we have done our best, then we give permission to ourselves to forgive ourselves, and we give permission to others for them to forgive themselves. And that's a beautiful empathic space to just let someone else know it's okay. It's just really okay. You tried. We know you wanted more, but all the time, the details the outcome is not in your hands all the time. It's okay to let that go. It's okay to forgive yourself, It's okay to just love yourself anyway. So these are beautiful, beautiful parts of just having empathy for yourself and empathy for other people. And that's how to recognize it. It's like, you know what? You going through your moment is not about you having to satisfy anyone else. So the person giving empathy isn't expecting you to satisfy them. It's actually, that moment is for you to satisfy yourself, to forgive yourself, to understand yourself, to learn more about yourself, to become a better person yourself, because you accept your flaws and you recommit to working on them for you, not for anyone else. You don't have to make yourself better for anyone else. You make yourself the better version of you for you. That's having empathy for yourself, and someone who's giving empathy to you allows you to have that space to do your work. So they're not putting themselves in the middle of your work. That's your work to do. And so that you can look at yourself in the mirror every morning or every night, so that you can really recognize and appreciate yourself for all the beautiful parts of yourself. And, you know, all the mishaps and mistakes, they're part of you, they're part of your experience, they're part of your growth, your learning. And you just become a more beautiful version of you. So that's real empathy. And before we go on to point 4, I just really want to say that, you know, having empathy is not something you're going to have with, you know, the majority of your friend group. If you can understand, everybody's not ready for this level of just understanding and commitment and pledging and commitment to themselves. That really is about growth, and that we're all growing in this world, and that hopefully you will have a handful, seriously, a single handful of people who are committed to themselves and committed to your growth and so on. But they're valuable. They're just so valuable. So these are the gems in your life. These are the real gems in your life. These valuable relationships. And it's important to grow them and foster them and to care for them. And to really be grateful and realize the love and care that you're receiving. And you know, some of you out there really have relationships like this, and it's like, wow, I didn't really know how special this was, and it is. And for you, those of you who don't, it's like, you know what? There are people out there who are willing to have relationships, honest, open people who are out there who really want to connect with another person in an honest, open, and loving and forgiving way, and they're out there. It's just that we don't tend to look for these things in our relationships, so it's really important that we begin looking, that we open our eyes to these things and how valuable they are. Like, you know, there are people like that who we haven't been spending time with, who are real gems out there, and that, you know, we can give better care and love to, and in turn they will give care and love to us. So to make that these relationships are reciprocal, that is about us giving care, and we'll see that. We'll begin to see that once we are more honest with ourselves and honest with other people, we can start developing those types of relationships. So let's see, point number 4. All right. So a person who really is giving you empathy, real empathy, that person will allow you to do your share of the work, of the emotional work. They allow you to pull your own weight, because they know that by the sweat of your brow that you will gain strength and confidence. So they're not trying to fix your problems. They are rooting you on. They are cheering for you. They are clapping for you. They are waiting to hear of your success or your efforts, and they will accept what effort you give and will cheer you on. But they're not volunteering to do the work for you. Sometimes we seek out people who we think have the potential to rescue us, and we don't set good boundaries, and we allow other people to rescue us, when actually by allowing someone to rescue us or makes us dependent on them, and then we don't gain the confidence, we don't gain the skills, we don't gain the strength, we don't gain the perseverance, we don't overcome our fears, because we allow someone to rescue us. It's okay to say, no, I got this. Or even if you don't think you have it, because by overcoming your own fear and trying, you will get it. You know, there's so many things we haven't done before, and that just by trying it, that we will learn. And when we accept that we're not perfect, like we talked to before, then it's okay to try and learn and make mistakes and get better at things. And then as you do that, you gain more confidence, but also you gain more skills, and you will actually be able to do more things. So that way you're not setting yourself for a dependency role on someone else. You're not making your life dependent upon what someone else does, that you are really taking the forefront, that you are using your own power and your own agency for taking care of you. And so we do this by having people there who are giving us empathy, but they're not doing the work for us. So we grow in so many ways when we do this. So that was a lot for this video. So just as a brief recap, the 4 tips in part 2 here are the way to recognize real empathy is 1, the person will actually do what they say they will do. So no false promises. They are doing what they say they will do. Number 2, that person is applauding you and your efforts. And they're not just having expectations, and you don't have to fulfill their expectations. They are applauding your efforts that you give. So it's all about you there. And then tip number 3, they're not expecting perfection. The person giving empathy is accepting you because they've learned that we all make mistakes. So it's okay to just see you as you are. They're accepting you. And then 4, they allow you to do your own work. They're not trying to become your hero and rescue you and do the work for you, so they're setting up dependency relationship on them. So all of these are key things to look for in your relationship with people, so that you understand a person is really pulling for you, cheering for you, looking out for you, versus making themselves the center of your life. I think you know what I mean. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching. I'm really so happy that you're here. Please do like and subscribe to my channel and check out the links below. All right, take care.